Three-way tie at the top of the table over in League One, of course, with Stevenage being the surprise package behind, of course, Bolton and Peterborough. Who's going to take advantage of match number 4? We're going to get into it next. Folks, Balance Game on prediction video today. We look forward to match number 4 in this year's EFL League 1, and we'll get to that in just a second. Of course, if you're new, where you've been, smash your subscribe button, bang. They're all things League 1 related, Battle Royals related, world football related. We're all here, boys, under one roof ski. Of course, Bolton, Peterborough, and Stevenage unbeatable at the moment, 100% success rate as they top their bloody table. But again, there can only be 2 teams that go up automatically. Who's going to, of course, take another step closer this weekend? We'll get into that in a second. Of course, big shout out to my VIPs. You know who they are. The patrons, that's right. Big shout out to those guys for supporting the channel. If you want to help out the channel, check out the links down below. Of course, in amongst other stuff, Twitter, Twitch, Discord, all that kind of stuff in the bottom. But we are going to jump into the deep end right here, right now, and look back at the results. Firstly by me, then of course by you, and then of course we're going to go into the next weekend's action. So here we go, recapping my picks on the left-hand side. The real deal was on the right. And as you can see, Blackpool, they stuttered against Port Vale, 0-0 on the night, 2-0 win in my eyes. Bolton, though, 3-1 winners over Fleetwood. That one was a 2-1, not too shabby, of course. The two of the table toppers at the before kickoff, Cambridge and Stevenage, locked horns this past match day. Stevenage coming out with a monstrous away win to keep their momentum train moving, stalling Cambridge, though, 2-1 win for them. I went with the draw myself. Carlisle, Wigan, they duked out to a 1-1 draw, got the one spot on the nose. Bristol Rovers with a big away day win against Charlton. I went with Charlton, of course, not great there. Derby looking a little bit rough around the Gills, 2-1 loss to Oxford United. Liam Manning moving the chains, of course, for Oxford at the moment. It's not Liam Manning. It's not. It is. It is Liam Manning. It is Liam Manning. Sorry, my mind went all over the place there. 3-1 win, Peterborough over Barnsley. Big win for them. Of course, Barnsley were one of the pace setters early doors, but now Peterborough really setting into gear. Lincoln City with a 2-2 draw against Northampton Town. Shrewsbury pick up a 2-1 win over Burton. I got the one bang on as well. It was a little bit late in the game, of course, for the match between Wycombe and Leyton. Orient to burst into life. 5 goals in total, 3-2 win for Wycombe. Portsmouth, they're up there as well. 1-0 win over Exeter, 3-1 win in my eyes. And Reading are up and at them with a 1-0 win as well. Those are my picks. And a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4. What else have I got there? 4, 5. 6. I got myself 6 there, which is okay. Not brilliant, but how would it have done in our own little prediction league? Well, let's have a little look then, shall we? Here we go. Well, get back there. Get back there. Here we go. Sorry, a bit of a tease there. I would have got 6, which would have been on the 3rd spot. But Manny, Margot, and Tommy, or Manny, Margot, Tommy, they got themselves 9. So well done to those guys for flexing their prediction muscles this past match week. Of course, we're going to do it each and every week, so make sure you get involved right here, right now. So 6 would have got me 3rd. But of course, the overall leaderboard since we began, and you'll see right here, right now, it's Shane O'Donnell running away with it with Ultra Omamura level in goal position with Uman Hussein and Russell Frost in the bronze position, then the chasing pack, of course. So when you are doing these, and of course you do come back week in, week out, make sure you get your name, your username exactly right as the last time. Of course, extra spaces here, there, and everywhere, or capital here and there, and it's just going to throw me off. And you might have your scores a little bit goofed up if you don't stick to the to those little simple requirements or recommendations from me. So anyway, that's the state of play right there, right now. Of course, this is the state of play right here, right now with the league. And as you can see, Bolton up there with 100% success rate, Peterborough as well, and Stevenage all with 3 for 3. Pompey, Wigan, and Cambridge on form are up there. Of course, Wigan have that points deficit. They're now down to -1, so they'll be slowly but surely in the red. Or in the black, should they say. So in the realistic world, it is Oxford up there in that last playoff spot. Going down, Burton, Leyton, Orient, Cheltenham and Fleetwood again on form. Wigan currently rooted to the bottom, but again, all that will work itself out in the wash shortly. Of course, the Prediction League wide open, get amongst it, but we are looking forward to the next round of games, which are these, and we're going to get into it right here, right now. Of course, kicking it all off with a bit of a zinger, of course, a bit of a Northwest crunch clash. It's, of course, Bolton up against Wigan. Let's get into it. Of course, oh, no, it's not. I fooled you. It's actually Blackpool up against Leyton Orient. Of course, that's coming at you on Saturday. These two sides will be meeting at Bloomfield Road. Neil Critchley's Blackpool against Richie Wellens' Leyton Orient. Played each other 4 times since 2006. It's actually been 4 wins out of 4 for Blackpool, nothing for Orient, and no draws as well. Biggest win for Blackpool, 3-0 win, scoring 9 goals in those 4 games, 2.25 goals game ratio. Against Leyton Orient, of course, who've just scored 2 goals against them over the last 4. They're coming to on 0% form right now. Leyton Orient look a little bit wobbly and need a result, and fast. In fact, they haven't won in the last 13 games. Blackpool are unbeaten in the last 6, pick up 3 wins and 3 draws. That's 75% form. Last time I played each other over at Bloomfield Road was back in May 2017. It was a 3-1 win for Blackpool. That was in League 2. And of course, Blackpool, on the back of that 0-0 draw against Port Vale, haven't conceded a goal so far in all competitions and all venues. They might be a little bit toothless up top, but they've been airtight at the back. So they'll be looking to do that again against Leyton Orient, who come into this again trouble, just scoring 2 goals, and those are the first 2 goals of their campaign were in the last game against Wycombe Wanderers. Quick look at the bookies odds then for this one. We have Blackpool 20-13 on. They are red hot favourites, 3-1 is the draw, 50-4 is the away win. We are backing Blackpool 1-0 win. Of course, no goals for Leyton, and of course another clean sheet for Blackpool for the season. There we go. It is Bolton, it is Wigan. It's the early kickoff on Saturday, August the 19th. Played each other 27 times, 2005, 7 wins for Bolton. We've got 10 wins for Wigan, and we've got 10 draws, of course. Bolton, biggest win for them over Wigan was a 4-0 win, scoring 36 goals in those 27 games, 1.33 goals a game ratio. Up against Wigan, who of course picked up those 10 wins. 4-0 was also their biggest, scoring 37 in those 27 games, 1.37 goals a game ratio, just a fraction bigger. Of course, Wigan, though, 1 defeat the past 6, 67% form for them right now. Bolton, though, 5 wins on the spin, 92% form for them right now. They haven't lost in the last 11 games. Of course, last time they played each other over at Bolton, that was a 4-0 win for Wigan back in October 2021. That was in League 1. Wigan are unbeaten against Bolton over the last 6, picking up 3 wins and 3 draws. Of course, Wigan on the back of a draw, Bolton on the back of a big 3-1 win over Fleetwood. But the odds for this game coming at you, the early game, 11-8 on is your Bolton, 14-5 is the draw, 7-2 is the away win. It's tight, but I'm going to go with Bolton. They look good. Wigan also look good, and they might not be relegation candidates anymore. I think they're close to getting that deficit wiped out, and once they do, I think they'll kick it a gear in and probably fly up the table. So next up, of course, we have Cambridge United up against Bristol Rovers, of course, coming out over in Cambridge. Now these two sides have played each other 11 times since 2002, 4 wins for Cambridge, 6 for Bristol Rovers, and 1 draw. Cambridge, biggest win for them over Bristol Rovers, 3-1 win, scoring 15 goals in those 11 games, 1.36 goals game ratio. Up against Bristol Rovers, Barton's boys, 4-1 win was the biggest over Cambridge, scoring 19 goals in those 11 games, 1.73 goals a game ratio, 67% form for them right now. Bristol Rovers just 1 defeat past 6. Cambridge, of course, 50% form for them, 1-3 and lost 3. Last time around in Cambridge, it was a 2-1 win for Bristol Rovers, who actually gone 5 on the spin against Cambridge. Last time Cambridge picked up a victory was way back in 2004 in Cambridge. It was a 1-0 win way back then. Cambridge on the back of that 2-1 loss to Stevenage. Bristol Rovers with a big 2-1 win over Charlton. But the odds for this game, we have 7-4 your Cambridge, 6-4 is your Bristol Rovers. I think they are slight favours here. 23-10 is the draw. I'm going with a draw here. I think it's quite tight. I think Cambridge will want to get back to at least positive play, and of course get another point in the bag. Next up, we have Carlisle United up against Exeter. Long away days for Exeter at Carlisle. Of course, currently find themselves in 18th spot up against 11th place Exeter City. These two sides have played each other 26 times in 2003. 6 wins for Carlisle, 13 for Exeter, and 7 draws. Carlisle's biggest win, 4-1 win, scoring 31 goals in those 26 games, 1.19 goals game ratio. Up against Exeter, though, 13 wins, 3-1 win was the biggest, 41 goals scored in those 26 games, 1.58 goals game ratio. Carlisle yet to get going here with a win. Of course, 25% form for them at the moment. Exeter winning 3 out of the last 6, 58% form for them at the moment. Last time around in Carlisle was a 1-0 win for Exeter way back in April 2022. That was in League 2. Exeter did lose, though, to Pompey and haven't scored in back-to-back games. Carlisle, though, picking up, of course, just 1 one goal in the last 3 games, really, in all competitions, and they'll look to try and get a point here back at home turf. 13-8 is your Carlisle, 13-8 is your Exeter, 9-4 is the draw. I'm backing Carlisle to nick it here with a 1-0 win at home. That's right, let's go. Charlton up against Port Vale down at the Vale. Of course, come at you also on Saturday, August the 19th. These two sides, I played the 14 times since 1994. We've got 6 wins for Charlton, 3 for Port Vale, and we've got 5 draws, of course. Charlton, though, the biggest win for them over Port Vale, 2-0 win, scoring 21 goals in those 14 games, 1.50 goals game ratio. Up against Port Vale, 2-0 win was their biggest, 17 goals scored in this 14 games, 1.21 goals game ratio heading into this. Port Vale on a good run right now, unbeaten in the last 3. That's 50% form for them right now. Charlton just 1 win in 6, of course, and they are currently 15th compared to Port Vale's 13th. Last time around, over at the Valley, was a 3-2 win for Charlton. That was back in April 2023. The away side hasn't won since Charlton beat Port Vale at Port Vale back in April 1998. Of course, Vale with that 0-0 draw against Port Vale still ringing in their ears. Back-to-back games now without conceding a goal since that 7-0 drubbing in the league against Barnsley. Charlton, of course, 2-1 loss to Bristol Rovers. Haven't picked up a win since opening day against Leyton. Or the odds here for this one, we got Charlton, even Stevens for the victory here, 5-2. The draw, 13-5 is the away. We're going to go with Charlton here, despite Port Vale's recent response to the 7-0 drubbing. Next, of course, we have Derby up against Fleetwood Town. Derby not really setting the place on fire just yet, in 14th spot up against the 20th place Fleetwood Town. These two sides have only played each other twice since 2022. 1 win for Fleetwood, nothing for Derby, and 1 draw. No goals scored as well for Derby against Fleetwood. Fleetwood boasts a 2-0 win, was their record highest. Of course, all their goals that scored against Derby came in that game. Derby, 33% form for them right now, just 1 win in 5 up against Fleetwood, also 1 win in 5 for them. Of course, last time around over at Pride Park, it was a 2-0 win for Fleetwood. Of course, Derby have yet to score against Fleetwood in back-to-back games. Derby there with a 2-1 loss against Oxford. Of course, Fleetwood with a 3-1 loss to Bolton. And looking at Derby right now, they have picked up a win against Burton most recently, so I think they're a little bit toothless up front. They did score 3 goals in that game, but struggled against Wigan and Blackpool, of course. The odds for this one then, we got Derby 7-4 on for the victory, 65 is your draw, 17-4 is your away win. 2-0 win for Derby, breaking the hoodoo, and of course moving up the ladder. Barnsley up against Oxford. This could be a zinger over at Oakwell. Now these two sides, according to my eyes, I've played each other 11 times since 1993, 6 wins for Barnsley, 2 for Oxford. And we've got 3 draws, of course. Barnsley's biggest win, 4-0 win, scoring 17 goals in those 11 games, 1.55 goals game ratio. Up against Oxford, 5-1 win was the biggest over Barnsley, 12 goals scored in those 11 games, and 1.09 goals game ratio. 50% form for Oxford right now, 1-3 and lost 3 up against Barnsley's, 42% form for them. Of course, 2 wins in the last 6 games. It's been a little bit rough despite their opening day flair. Last time around, over at Oakwell was a 2-0 win for Barnsley back in April 2023. Barnsley unbeaten against Oxford over the last 5, picking up 4 wins and a draw to boot. Derby did lose to Oxford last time around over at Pride Park. Barnsley also losing at home to Peterborough, looking to bounce back and fast. The odds right here, right now, we've got Barnsley even Stevens for the victory. 13-5 is your Oxford, 12-5 is the draw, and that's what I'm going for. I'm going to cheeky 1-1 draw. Let me know your thoughts down below. Of course, into Reading up against Stevenage, a bit of a zinger chicken dinner over at the Matchday now. These two sides, again, contrasting form right now. Reading in 15th, 16th spot. Of course, Stevenage up there into 2nd. Played each other 6 times in 2011. We've got 2 wins for Reading, 2 for Stevenage, and 2 for the draw. 3-0 win was the biggest for Reading, scoring 6 goals in those 6 games. You could do the math. Of course, Stevenage, biggest win for them, 2-1 win, scoring 4 goals in the 6 games, 0.67 goals game ratio. But the form, 33% form for Reading right now, 2 wins of the last 6 up against Stevenage, who have won 6 on the spin and unbeaten in the last 7. Last time around at the Matchday was also a 2-1 win for Stevenage back in August 2022. That was in the round, the EFL Cup last season. Last time I played each other in the league, you have to go way back in the record books because I haven't even got the data. Reading, though, of course, 1-0 win over Cheltenham. Of course, Stevenage with a big 2-1 win over Cambridge at Cambridge, but the odds for this one, 6-4 is your Reading, 7-4 is your Stevenage, 23-10 is the draw. I'm backing a draw on this one. I think it'll be a good point for Stevenage. Reading yet to get going, to be honest with you, and I think they'll stall once again. Northampton Town up against Peterborough, the high flyers, the table toppers at the moment. Of course, now these two sides, actually they're second. These two sides played each other 17 times in 2002, 3 wins to Northampton, 12 for Peterborough, and we've got 2 draws, of course. The hosts, of course, boast a 5-3 win, scoring 11 goals in those 17 games, 0.65 goals game ratio. Up against Peterborough, 4-1 win, the biggest, scoring 27 goals in those 17 games, 1.59 goals game ratio. They come into this unbeaten in the last 8 games, picking up 6 wins on the spin, 100% form for them right now. Northampton just 1 win in 6, 33% form for them right now, and they're in a bit of trouble. Last time around, though, at Northampton was a 2-0 win for Peterborough back in October 2020. Northampton's last win was way back in October 2017 in the EFL Trophy. It might have even come via penalties. Northampton, they'll pick up a 2-2 draw against Lincoln. Peterborough with that big 3-1 win over Barnsley. The odds for this one, we have Northampton 12-5 for the victory, 11-10 is your posh, and 12-5 is the draw here. Gonna go with the away day win here, and Peterborough up and at them. Portsmouth up against Cheltenham now over at Fratton Park. Now these two sides played each other 11 times in 2013. We've got 4 wins for Pompey, 1 for Cheltenham, and we've got 6 draws, of course. Biggest win for Portsmouth, 6-1 win, scoring 22 goals in those 11 games. That's 2 goals a game ratio. Up against Cheltenham, 1-0 win was their biggest, scoring 9 goals in 11 games, 0.82 goals game ratio. They are in a bit of trouble right now. 8% form for Cheltenham right now. Portsmouth, of course, winning 3 in the bouts, 58% form for them, of course. And they did beat Cheltenham last time around, 4-0 win over at Fratton Park. Portsmouth boast a 1-0 win over Exeter, back-to-back clean sheets for them. Cheltenham back-to-back to back-to-back. In fact, they haven't even scored a goal all season. Worrying times for Cheltenham, of course. The odds right here right now, we've got 5-2 on is your Pompey, we've got 7-2 is the draw here, and 7-1 is your long shots. That is Cheltenham. I'm going to give them a goal here, though. It's 2-1 win for me for Pompey to take it to the house. Into this one now, Shrewsbury up against Lincoln City, of course, coming at you at Gay Meadow. That's right. I played each other 27 times since 2002. We've got 10 wins for the Shrews, 9 for Lincoln, and 8 draws, of course. Shrewsbury, 5-1 win was the biggest over Lincoln, scoring 33 goals in those 27 games, 1.22 goals game ratio. Up against Lincoln, 4-1 win, the biggest, scoring 25 goals in those 27 games, 0.93 goals game ratio. They come into this, though, unbeaten in the last 3 games. Up against Shrewsbury, 50% form for them, 1-2, lost 2, and drawn 2 over the last 6. Last time around, over at Shrewsbury, was a 2-0 win for the Shrews. You got to go back to April 2021 since the away side beat the home side. That's when Lincoln beat Shrewsbury in Shrewsbury. Lincoln, though, boasting a 2-2 draw against Northampton. The Shrews, back-to-back home wins for them. Actually, 3 wins on the spin over at Gay Meadow for them. So there's a difficult place to go. The odds for this one, we've got 31-20 is your Shrewsbury, 11-5 the draw, 9-5 is your away win. I am back in the Shrews for another win here. 1-0 win, take to the mixer, and of course, go with the flow. Let's go into this one. I believe it's the last one. It's Wycombe, it's Burton. It's over at Adams Park. Played each other 16 times since 2010, 8 wins apiece, 0 draws. Biggest win for Wycombe, 3-0 win, scoring 24 goals in those 16 games, 1.50 goals game ratio. Up against Burton, of course, biggest win for them, 5-0 win, scoring also 24 goals, again, 1.50 goals game ratio. But Burton come into this without a win in 5, actually 5 defeats on the spin. Wycombe, though, 58% form for them, winning 3 out of the last 6 games. Last time around, though, at Adams Park, it was matchday number 1 last season. It was a big 3-0 win for Wycombe. Of course, we've won at least about the last 2 games over at Adams Park, of course, in the league. Last time around, though, not last time around, of course, coming at you, the odds 4-3 on is your Wycombe, 7-2 is the away win, 11-4 is the draw. We're back in the host here, of course. We are going to give it to Wycombe, 2-1 win for them. And of course, that, my friends, completes this match day. Of course, don't forget to get your own in on the Super Brew, but also drop your names and comments down below so we can have a little look to see what you think was going to happen this coming match day. And if I'm right, of course, I'll show you what happened if I'm right. But again, recap of the prediction league. But if I'm right, this is what the table will look like. It'll be Bolton, it'll be Peterborough, of course, tip-top table, of course, 100% success rate. They could actually be the 2 that go the distance, and I'm calling it already with Pompey, Stevenage, Shrewsbury, and Blackpool making up numbers up there. Of course, going down Burton, Leyton, Orient, Cheltenham, and Fleetwood, of course. But don't forget about Wigan's a goal deficit and the like. That, of course, completes the set, guys. Be sure to give it some love and smash your subscribe, smash your thumbs up, hit the little bell. We'll be back for match number 5 already very, very soon, of course. So make sure you subscribe, of course, give some love in the chat, and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss a beat, so you can catch each and every one of the prediction videos when they come around. But until then, guys, I'm tapping out.